Are there certain Halloween candies that are healthier than other Halloween candies? No. Most candy that we're consuming now is absolute garbage. Welcome to the show where we help you make smart nutrition simple. If you want proven nutrition strategies to help you build a better body and create the energy to show up for your family without overly restrictive and unrealistic dieting, then you're in the right place. Make sure to subscribe and enjoy this episode. What is going on, my friends? Welcome back to another episode of the Smart Nutrition Made Simple show. In case you don't know me, my name's Ben Brown. I am the head coach and owner here at Body Systems. We're an online nutrition and fitness coaching company, and our mission is to help you create a new belief system around what it means to be healthy. And hey, that especially includes the ways that we think about and the ways that we treat holidays like Halloween, which is coming up here in a week or so. And so that's what we're talking about in today's episode. I'm answering some of the most common questions that we get from clients, in particular around holidays and Halloween. And so first, what I'm going to dive into is how to navigate your kids' candy haul. And I'm going to share some of the strategies that we personally use for, allowing our kids to enjoy treats without going overboard on them, trying to be as realistic as possible in the world that we're living in today. And not be too terribly restrictive. At the same time, we can't give them free rein to do whatever the hell they want. And then we're going to get into whether or not there are any healthier Halloween candy options. Spoiler alert, most of it is complete junk, and I'll tell you why. And then finally, I'm going to share tips on making healthy choices at Halloween parties, Thanksgiving parties, Christmas parties, you name it, even when we're surrounded by junk food, which we're all susceptible to. And so I think you're going to enjoy this episode. It was a great conversation. I appreciate your guys' questions. Keep them coming. If you have any questions, feel free to just personally email me, ben@bodysystems.com. Otherwise, let's jump right in. Go ahead and make sure you guys subscribe, leave a positive rating and review, and hey, share this with someone whom you think could benefit. I will catch you guys in the conversation. Let's go. So the question is, what are suggestions that I have for dealing with Halloween candy, both before and after the actual event? If you want to eat the candy, then keep it in your house. If you don't want to eat it and you don't want your kids to eat it, get rid of it. And so my suggestion would be, I'm definitely not the type of person that is so hardcore around these silly holidays that I'm not going to let my kids enjoy some candy. To be fair, it's hard to not have them consume candy like in just the real world anyways, with kids' birthday parties, with sports and people bringing treats after, the event, with activities in school, they get candy. It's kind of ridiculous. But with respect to Halloween, it's like, listen, set a standard and set a limit for your kids of what is appropriate. Just because it's Halloween doesn't mean that they should be able, in my opinion, consume as much as they want. We have a very clear limit around, hey, you can have 5 pieces or 6 pieces or 10 pieces or whatever it is. Whether or not they actually listen to us is a different story. But I think it's important to set some expectations around that, as well as just because it's, in the house doesn't give them free rein either. And so as a parent, it's important to acknowledge, like, if the stuff is in the house, you, for one, are going to be a lot more likely to eat it. If you don't want to eat it, don't bring it in the house. 2, well, same deal for the kids. If you don't want the kids to eat it, don't have it around. And what we know about treats in general, sweets, foods that are higher in calories, higher in sugar, higher in fat, that are more stimulating in the brain, that are more tasty and enjoyable, that we want to consume, sweets, treats, desserts, that can often feel off limits. So the more we surround ourselves with those things, the more likely we are to consume them, because we're only human and the brain looks to those types of foods for stimulation. If we think back to hunter-gatherer ancestors, anytime we found foods that were high in calories, honey, animal fats, berries, we would eat as much of that as we could as an opportunity to load in the calories, because in all reality, we probably wouldn't know when another time is when we'd have access to that type of caloric density. And we're not far removed from our ancestral brain. In fact, it's basically the same thing, to the degree that we now have engineered foods to literally create the stimulation in the brain far beyond what we would have experienced hundreds and thousands of years ago. And so my point in that is that if those foods are around, we're going to want to consume them. So if you don't want to consume them, don't have them there. And what we also know with behavioral psychology is the more that we have to rely on self-control and discipline, the less likely we are to be successful. So I know, for me, I love chocolate chip cookies. And if I know that there's chocolate chip cookies in the house, especially in the freezer, I'm going to be a lot more likely to consume those. And so for me, it's very logical to just not bring them in the house, or get upset at my wife when she does bring them in the house, full well knowing that I'm going to end up eating those cookies. Same goes for the Halloween candy. Enjoy it while you have it. If you don't want to eat it and don't want the kids to eat it after the fact, get rid of it. What we typically do is we will give the kids however many pieces, maybe 10 pieces. I will buy the rest of the candy off of the kids, maybe 5 cents a piece or 10 cents a piece, and we'll dump it and throw it in the garbage. And they never think twice about it. And I would express the same thing to the parents, those of you listening. Enjoy it while you've got it, and then get rid of it if you don't want to consume it. Are there certain Halloween candies that are healthier than other Halloween candies? No. Most candy that we're consuming now is absolute garbage. And, you know, if you're going to eat candy, like my philosophy is like, assuming you don't eat candy a lot, you want to use an opportunity to enjoy some candy, just enjoy whatever it is that you like. Don't worry about it. Trying to eat healthier candies under these circumstances, you know, some people would say, well, at least choose organic candy and like this, that, and the other. And I don't know, maybe you can. But I think for the most part, the level of processing, the quality of the ingredients in the candy is such that in no way, shape, or form is it good for you. And sugar is sugar at the end of the day. So enjoy whatever it is that you enjoy. Just don't make a habit of it. And the other thing is to not fall for food marketing tactics of being misled to believe that certain candy is better for you because it's quote unquote plant-based, like a Reese's peanut butter cup, because it has peanut butter is high in protein, or that now on Reese's peanut butter cup labels, they say plant-based, as if in some way that makes it better for you. It's obviously not. It's still ridiculously high in sugar. It's ridiculously high in trans fats and seed oils. And again, that's not the end of the world, but let's not deceive ourselves in believing that in some way these foods are actually healthy for us or healthier than any other candy. It's all crap. None of it is good for us in any way. We should be limiting our sugar intake. And understand that, like, especially for kids, you know, the recommended daily allowance of sugar for kids is 25 grams. That's as much as they get in like a processed yogurt. A couple of those mini candy bars is 25 grams of sugar. So kids now are far, far exceeding above and beyond the RDA by exponential amounts, which is part of the reason why, our society is morbidly obese and overweight. So, it's tough because you want to justify being like a normal parent. And you want to say, well, I understand that the candy's not good for my kids. Okay, like no parent is going to think that it's good for them. And everyone who has kids will say, I want what's best for my kid. I fully acknowledge that eating candy is probably not the best thing for them. But we also don't want to be the type of parent who's uber restrictive and, maybe gives them a complex of like never giving them candy to the degree that they end up going off the wall and wanting to consume everything. The same thing that we do as adults. But what I think also is important to understand and kind of acknowledge is like I said, kids are being exposed to this junk food constantly at school, at sports, on the weekends, at birthday parties, at their friends' houses. And so there's nothing wrong with being the type of parents, the type of family, the type of house that is setting higher expectations around the quality of food that your kids are consuming, because this is where they learn how to eat healthy for a lifetime. And by the way, they're learning it from you. And so one of the hard questions that we have to ask ourselves is, am I allowing my kids, am I allowing my kids to eat these foods simply because I want these for myself, or I'm not willing to do the work required to give them a healthy substitute, which frankly oftentimes is actually the case in my opinion. And I have been there myself and continue to be there myself on occasion. And am I setting the example for my kids with my eating behaviors to reinforce the types of behaviors that I would expect from them? So when we kind of navigate around kind of the what's appropriate for my kids, should I let them do this? Should I let them do that? I think at the end of the day, it comes back to what you're allowing yourself to do, the expectations that you place upon yourself, what you allow in the house, the way that your eating behaviors impact your children's behaviors, and the amount of time and energy and effort that you're putting into laying the foundation for what you expect your kids to do, so much so that they have this foundation of healthy eating that is, for lack of a better term, accessorized with some treats here and there that they enjoy, but they also aren't addicts and feel like they need to have this stuff all of the time and throw fits when they don't get it. So the question is, how do we make healthier food choices when we go to Halloween parties? And the suggestion I'm going to make is the same suggestion that I would give for any parties in general, right? Because we could say Halloween, we could say Valentine's Day, we could say it's a Christmas party, it's a Thanksgiving party, it's a birthday party, right? It's an anniversary, whatever it is. Like it's Taco Tuesday. It's just like there's endless opportunities to eat and drink galore and endless reasons to justify overconsumption. Depending on the day of the week, what's happened in our week, whatever, wins, losses, struggles, emotions. And the first thing that we need to look at is acknowledging that our decisions are well within our control. And so what we used to do, when, years ago, we would throw a Halloween party every year, and we would get like Costco pizza and have like a Caesar salad. And after a couple of years, I was like, why are we doing this? I don't like Costco pizza. I don't want to eat Costco pizza. I don't necessarily want to be the house that's providing food for other people in our community that don't want to be eating Costco pizza. I realize it's easy. I realize it's cheap, but I'm also, care enough to want to do something that's healthier. So we have since the last few years, we'll order Chipotle, and we'll have a whole Chipotle setup where someone can make their own bowl. Now, you can easily make a bowl that's just as unhealthy as eating pizza, but at least people have the options, and at least I have the option of ways where I can stick to my food preferences and choices and things that fit within my goals. Now, with that said, I'm the host of the party, and I do that intentionally, again, so that I have control. Now, under other circumstances where we go to someone else's house, I want to find out, well, what are we having? And of what we're having, how does it fit in with what I want to have? And so I will literally think through those scenarios. I'll ask the host what we're having. I'll ask what I can bring. Based on what we're having, I will choose to bring something that I know aligns with my nutritional goals. Maybe it's chicken skewers. Maybe it's a veggie platter. Maybe it's a Greek yogurt onion dip versus a regular, sour cream based dip. Maybe I'll bring veggies to dip in the Greek yogurt, and on and on. So there's a myriad of things that you can do to set yourself up for success. But the first thing is acknowledging that you actually are the only one that's in control of what goes in your mouth. And relinquishing control to someone else and saying, oh, woe's me, nothing was available, is not their fault, it's your fault. Because you didn't do your diligence, or you didn't set yourself up for success, or you don't have to eat anything that's there if nothing fits within what you say that you want. You could have a protein shake before, you could eat a full meal before, you could eat a meal after. There's nothing wrong with going for a couple hours without eating. So I would implore people to first and foremost acknowledge, are you taking control of the situation to the best of your ability? Are you planning ahead to the best of your ability? Thinking through what choices I'm going to make in the moment? What obstacles might I experience? And perhaps pushback might I experience from people that are going to be there? Oh, have another drink. Why don't you eat some of grandma's pie? Whatever that is, and think through the types of conversations that you're going to need to have to reinforce the decisions that you want to make. Well, there you have it. That's it for this episode of the Smart Nutrition Made Simple show. If you have questions that you'd like us to tackle in an upcoming episode, then we can't wait to hear from you. So you can submit your questions directly by just messaging us on our social media. That's at Body Systems Coaching. Or you can just message me personally, ben@bodysystems.com. Appreciate you guys listening, and I will catch you in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening. And if you found this content valuable, here are 4 ways I can help you in your nutrition journey for free. 1, grab a free copy of my Fat Loss Fix Guide at fatlossfixguide.com. 2, join my free group at smartnutritionmadesimple.com. 3, subscribe to my YouTube channel at smartnutritionmadesimple.tv.com. 4, leave a 5-star rating and positive review so that we can gain access to more nutrition experts ready to share their knowledge with you and ultimately help more people make smart nutrition simple.